Okay, hi, hello, welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today. I'm here to bring you the retrogration report on Mercury. Mercury. So, Mercury helps you manifest. It's kind of like the ways of the world, the ways of the group, the ways of society, the ways of the collective. And it's more intellect, reason, and communication, but it deals around ideas and communication. The exchange of ideas. It rules the third and the sixth house. So this your skill set, commerce, things that are coming and going from you that require your talents, your abilities, your skill sets. Typically, negotiation and communication and exchange, bartering. And then the sixth house, which is your day-to-day routines, the thing that makes the market, the thing that makes the marketplace, and or the service you give to yourself and others. So that's Mercury. It tends to deal with diplomatic or policy, procedure, protocol type of things, especially when you add in Venus energy. So that would be according to your chart. Now, we went retrograde a little bit ago. I'm going to get this up here. I'm doing the seat of my pants. I've been checked out. I haven't done anything. And I'm the only oracle right now in the temple, as you all know, but we'll talk about that later, right? Let's get them up in here. So, first things first. When was this little retrograde? We all know that Mercury retrogrades happen often. So, what a retrograde is judgment. Think of it as an audit if you don't like that word, but it's judgment. So Mercury stationed retrograde on the 26th, and it's stationed direct on Sunday, the 19th, not the 29th. Now it'll be in its shadow period until the 2nd of September, and that's at 4 degrees of Leo. And it went direct at 11 degrees of Leo, retrograde at 23 degrees of Leo. So that's a gate of personal power. And this personal power would be expressed through where you are in control of your life, where you're overseeing things, your place of power. It tends to be where your conviction lies in terms of your generative energies, your creation, the love you give yourself and others. That's what Leo rules over. So, I mean, you would have to reorganize and restructure ideals about, your place in the world, your talent, your my spirit is saying your reputation, but I'm trying to be like your work product, what it is that your hobbies, like what it is that you work on. Not the work that you do, but like what is it you work on. I'm a spiritual researcher. I love to find new techniques, new strategies, new occult secrets. That's what I'm working on all the time. When I want people to look at my work, I'm not talking about my body of work, like my career. I'm talking about like what it is that my work product is. It is spiritual technology. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to say. But I have the record open here. Let's see about it. So, what we already knew when Mercury stationed retrograde, it was already wanting to work on autonomy, franchise, and control. So, the first thing initially Mercury wanted to bring to the surface was our means, our mechanisms, our methodologies, and it would be around our talents. A lot of us have a lack of alignment in our life because our talent is latent. We're not in alignment because we're not aware of what our secret, our own world looks like. We're living in somebody else's world. I do want to say it would have been giving away power, giving away autonomy, franchise, and control over ourselves because we were in the wrong people, places, and things, and we were lacking self-courage and wisdom, strength, courage, and wisdom. So until we were willing to go on the journey and learn about ourselves, and learn about the eternity of our soul, learn about the strength of our spirit, we weren't going to be manifesting in the right way. So this Mercury retrograding in Leo is talking about if your talents aren't aligned with your ambitions, you're out of alignment for this retrograde. That's how you'll be facing judgment. Okay, so what the retrograde actually worked through was the lack of spiritual insight, like how the door was, there was a delay at the gate opening up for something to come through and manifest in our lives because we were lacking the insight. We weren't in alignment with cycles, and we weren't operating in the field of proper intentions. Our spiritual principles and our spiritual beliefs and our spiritual technologies, too much studying, too much dogma, too much all of that. And we'd come from a long line of being conditioned and programmed with spiritual functions, or how government should work, how the Father saw us in the house, and what we could do with what our Father told us. Now, it wouldn't just be men, but it would have been authoritative figures or government figures or father figures. So if we've started in our hopes, our wishes, our dreams, our aspirations, our heart's desires, our soul's ambitions, we need to believe in a bigger, brighter, better future. And so we're hesitant to take this journey because it's a new hope, but we're refusing to hope in some way because we're lacking proper judgment. So the judgment is born in an aha moment. When we learn that we've been working or living or externalizing our power in a way that wasn't serving us, that's when we would have come home to our power. In order to complete this cycle, the thing to discover would have been spiritual perspective. The spiritual perspective would have been our intention and our talents create our opportunities. Opportunities is that wheel of fortune, the door opening up for things to come through. And that would have been abundance. It can be monetary value, but self-worth and value as well. Okay. So this is Mercury. So my findings here are that during the pre-shadow period, and then the shadow period leading up to the retrograde, on the menu for adjustment was means, mechanisms, methodologies, latent talents that would have manifest from embodying strength, courage, and wisdom, releasing, detaching from people, places, and things that were in alignment with us, putting more work into becoming aligned, and working out our rights, our boundaries, releasing, moving on from toxicity, and needing to be selfish a little bit. That would have gave us autonomy, for instance, and control, and that's what we were going to work out in the Mercury. That's what already was clear in the shadow period. As we move on now, because Mercury's in the shadow period, but we're in what's called post-shadow, what they found out during the retrograde, I'll talk about that in a minute, but it seems like the recommendation, the judgment, their findings for judgment are that lack of self-worth and value, lack of optimism, that we don't see ourselves properly, and that we don't see things spiritually. We see things about too materialistically, but not in a way of like money, like we're too in the third dimension, we're not coming from a higher dimensional place. And that there's shadow there. It can be, first of all, we just have bad people in our lives. We need to detoxify the people, places, and things that we're around, and there's something alive in us that keeps attracting negative people. And that things will come together when we face up to this truth. Now, in the retrograde, the guidance there was that, first of all, what we were doing was trying to build a beautiful home around us. Okay, the healing was that there were things to confront, and that they would have aligned us back with the soul group, and we needed to confront people in the soul group. and there was a release, things we needed to let go of, judgments we needed to have that we were struggling, and that would have been a great gift to give ourselves. That's what we were needing. We were needing to have proper judgment about releasing some people, places, and things in our life, and that was something strong to confront. For some of us, it would have been a dark journey of the soul. The people, places, and things, and what was attracting them would have been problematic for us to own up to the truths around that. And it's because as we went on this journey, more and more and more, we became aware of that we were going to need to succeed in a world that didn't want us, that this world or this environment of where these people, places, and things existed, for some reason, it's kind of like trying to fit into a place that doesn't want you. You know, people might be telling you they're holding space for you, but you don't really fit into the space that they're holding you, or, you know, you're trying to make space for yourself, and people are telling you that that's not how they roll or how things work, and feeling like you can't nurture something into creation because too many agendas on an emotional level, too many emotional agendas, not ego agendas like the Five of Wands. This is the Five of Cups, emotional agendas, disappointment mostly, and that's literally why you can't create, because something needs to be stripped. You need to build yourself up on the inside. Now, the need there, and the blessing, the gift, is that there's release. So if you can think about over the last week and a half or so, how you now see your value, your worth, where you are on your own, where you are without other people, without other things. That's the value. There's going to be a lot of release because things might be dissolving, diminishing, diluting around you, but there's no foundational loss. That you withdrawing your energy was just selfishness, and you were stuck not being able to move because you were refusing to release something. And that's what the universe wanted this whole time. They wanted us to have a different perspective. See things from a spiritual standpoint, stop seeing the shadow, the reflection of things, and see things for what they actually were. So the fear there was confronting opportunity, because these shifts were blessings. And again, it would have been spiritual principles. We need to live as spiritual peoples, understand that we're spirit in a human form, and honor that covenant, because everything else is creating shadow, and we're becoming obsessive compulsive, or we're becoming toxic in the way we're controlling or the way we're managing. Some of us are becoming egotistical, selfish. But I feel like we're subscribing to other people's agenda because we're not facing up to our self-worth and value, and the need for self-worth and value. So again, the recommendation, and this is a strict sentence, so if we don't adhere to these realities, to this guidance, that there will be negative consequences. Mostly just, the wanting, hoping, wishing, praying, conjuring, yearning up. Things will shift and things will change, and we'll never get that closure that we want. Sun in reverse is needing closure sometimes. Now, again, the findings here are that, need strength, courage, and wisdom in order to exercise the atomic frontiers and control, which will give somebody a manifest talent, which right now is latent. So this latent talent is creating a lack of strong intention, and that's what the Mercury retrograde was working out. The recommendation here is to go ahead and have an inner aha moment that will, facing up to some truth, will go ahead and give us this completion. Now, it seems like we're unaware of what needs to be confronted here. So it's alive in us. it's something that we need to stop. We need to shift in order to come back into alignment. And that's why things are blocked. So look firstly at where you're the most blocked, where things are moving the most slow. What has broken down in the last 9 days or so? Over the last month. But it should have become very clear over the last 9 days. So in that place where the breakdown has happened, there's a chance for alignment, and there should have been an inventory taken. You know, who, what, when, where, why, what's alive in me, what am I wanting, what am I thinking, what am I needing, you know, why is this happening, how have I attracted this, what is the universe asking me to do, what can I learn from this, how does this mess become a message, how does this test become a testimony. You know, that's the inventory. And that's where the working will happen. So when you confront things, when you start going through that inventory and taking definite action or massive action or decisive action, remember, energy change leads to behavior. You know, behavior change leads to energy change. Energy change leads to a vibrational change. A vibrational change basically is a new realm, a new world, a new reality. Sometimes it'll manifest something different in the physical within about 14 days, normally a half of a moon cycle. Things will begin to dramatically shift or significantly, seriously shift. That's kind of the breakdown there. And the moon and Mercury and Jupiter are all planets of manifestation. So the moon would talk about emotions and being in alignment. Mercury would talk about being in alignment based on protocol, skills exchange, information exchange. Jupiter would talk about that coming from a spiritual perspective, a wisdom perspective, okay? Higher knowledge, supernal knowledge, celestial knowledge, galactic knowledge. Putting all that out there because that's what's coming through. So take good care of yourself. Remember, when you confront whatever's alive in you, that's what'll bring this manifestation coming through. It'll give you the strength, courage, and wisdom you need. A lot of us are off topic, off practice, because we don't know what to do with ourselves, because we don't know what we want to do with our lives. There's been so much new truth, but not a lot of what to do with new truth. And your intention will become clear when you confront what's alive in you. There's fears that have come out, and we're not doing anything because we're afraid of something. And whenever we find a fear, we should go in that direction and tackle it and beat it down with the club. You know, just it's called being counterphobic, going the direction of your phobias. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.